To me, there are three kinds of movies in this world. There are those movies that you watch because you love and appreciate film as an art form. There are those you watch because you just want to be entertained and have some fun. And then there's Sharknado, the movie that you watch because you lost a very big bet. Sharknado 3. Oh, hell no! I'm trying to say it like the way Will Smith doesn't say it in iRobot, but that's how everyone pictures him saying it in iRobot. Anyway, Sharknado 3 is the third Sharknado movie, and once again follows the character of Finn Shepard, who has just received a medal from the President of the United States and a gold chainsaw for saving New York from a bunch of sharks in a Sharknado. But a Sharknado hits DC, the president's fine, but it destroys the White House and the Washington Monument, and then it's headed to Orlando, where Finn's family is, so he has to go down there, along with some old friends, try to stop the Sharknado, and stop the Sharknado epidemic from happening ever again. Please, for the love of God, stop! Stop it! Now, I'm in a very difficult position right now, because I feel like at this point, we're at number 3. I can't really criticize this movie without looking like a moron, because, I mean, when I reviewed the other Sharknado movies, I don't believe I ever compared them to something great like The Godfather or Schindler's List or The Apartment, as I just showed you. I'm comparing it to other movies that are like really stupid but can be fun also. Like the biggest comparison I draw is the Crank movies, or maybe something from Roger Corman. It's dumb to really criticize this movie because you're like, what did you expect from a movie called Sharknado? But in all the other reviews I've done, and mainly this one, what I expect from these movies is it to be ludicrous and just not give a fuck. And this movie just has the exact same problems the other ones do. It's not worse than the other ones, but it's just on the same level. Like, they really try. They try their damnedest to make this a movie that's so bad it's good, when you don't go out there with that goal. You don't go out there to intentionally make a movie that's so bad it's good. You have to accidentally make that movie. Like, look at Tommy Wiseau or the guy who made the Birdemic movies. Those guys believed that they were making real movies. They put their heart and soul into those movies, and because they turned out as bad as they did, you could kind of admire and appreciate those movies for how shitty they are. It's like, well, you guys really thought you were making a great movie, but you just made horrible, steaming piles of shit. The Asylum can't do that. Like, they desperately try, and once again, they failed. Although, I will say, the acting has somehow managed to be worse as the movies kept going. I mean, the same characters are back. They're terrible also. Tara Reid especially. Oh my god, that woman not only gets worse in terms of her acting, but I'm sorry, but she is not hold up. She does not look that good. Maybe she's tired. Maybe being in these Sharknado movies has exhausted her, but I don't know. I mean, like, shit. Being in any Asylum production will exhaust you, I think. And then the movie's filled with all these painful cameos, I gotta say. You have these people that come in, and you should take advantage of their time being in here. Like, I complained about Jared, the Subway guy, being in the second Sharknado movie. It's like, you could have him there, and if you had a shark eat him, that would be hilarious, but no, he's just there to sell Subway sandwiches, and that's bullshit. Here you have people like Lou Ferrigno, who doesn't do anything that would remind you of his career as the Hulk from the 1970s. You have magicians Penn and Teller in there for a pointless cameo, and they don't do anything involving magic. You have George R.R. Martin, the author of Game of Thrones, in there to get eaten by a shark, but he just, like, pops up and gets eaten by a shark. He doesn't do anything, he doesn't say anything, he just pops up out of nowhere, gets eaten by a shark, and that's it. And then the weirdest of them all is Frankie Muniz, who I feel like after Agent Cody Banks 2, yes, I do remember that movie, it seems like he just left the planet Earth for almost a decade and then he came back in a Sharknado movie. It's like, that guy just came out of nowhere within this movie and within life, I imagine. And for some reason, he's the best guy in the movie. He is the one who kind of tries to put his best into it, but even then, his best is not good enough, and he's killed early in the movie. Spoilers, for people who really care. And then you have Anthony Weiner and Michelle Bachmann, like two politicians who've just been ridiculed a lot. Michelle Bachmann because she's a dumbass, so practically. And then Anthony Weiner, who in this movie plays a head of a institution. Basically, he's there because, hey, do you remember the guy who's Carlos Danger? Well, he's in this movie shaming himself. It's like, wow, it's like, where do broken actors and politicians go to die in Sharknado movies? And then the product placement is really awful. Like, you once again have product placement for Subway, Xfinity, NASCAR, and Universal Studios Florida. Oh my god, that is the, like, almost every shot is like, hey, look at this attraction from Universal Studios Florida. Look at this, look at that. It's just like, wow, I didn't think there was any movie that could ever top the shamefully horrible product placement of Universal Studios theme parks in The Cat in the Hat, but lo and behold, Sharknado 3 does it, and now I'm pissed because I want to go back to Universal Studios Florida and Islands of Adventure. I gotta save money. And I hate to go back on the trying too hard and failing, but, like, I took notes of some stuff that just, like, really threw me off. Like, in the opening of the movie, we have a James Bond spoof for no reason where it does a little, like, white circle things, except it's shark jaws, and then we see the main character with a chainsaw walking by like he's 007. I liked it better when Jason Voorhees did it in Friday the 13th Part 6. And then you have, for whatever reason, a seagull that makes pigeon noises. I don't know how that works. Maybe it's the asylum's stupidity. And like the other two movies, they have these scenarios that could be potentially awesome. Like, not good, but it could be so dumb, it could be awesome. Like, buzzsaw hand that Tara Reid has. Like, she's developed some sort of robot hand after her arm got taken off in the second movie, and she has a retractable buzzsaw. Not once does she use it until the very end, and it's not even to kill a shark. Sorry, spoilers, but she doesn't kill a shark with it. Again, you waste these celebrity cameos, with the exception of George R. R. Martin. If you're going to put these celebrities in the movie, why not you actually take the time to kill them off? Like, that would be hilarious, but nope, they don't do that. Now, I will say this before I wrap things up. The ending is so ridiculous. It's one of the most absolutely retarded things I've ever seen in a movie. But it's kind of in the vein of something that I wanted to see in these Sharknado movies. Just something that's so ridiculous. It's like, okay, I'm kind of on board. The editing's a little shitty. Everything's shot very close up. The effects are crappy, but that's expected from these movies. But I can get into it. But it's at the very end of the movie, and then they end on a cliffhanger. You probably heard of this, but there is a, like, Twitter thing going on right now. It's like, hey, we're going to make Sharknado 4. Why don't you choose hashtag what happens? Okay, basically what happens at the end is Tara Reid's character, April, tries to grab something, but there's a falling debris that comes from the sky. And everyone's like, get out of the way, get out of the way. She screams, ah! It cuts to black, and then the commercial says, hey, Twitter fans, you get to choose what happens in the beginning of Sharknado 4. You want April to live or you want April to die? And I'm like, I don't give a shit, because if she gets killed in the beginning of Sharknado 4, I have a feeling they're going to find a way to bring her back anyway, because Tara Reid needs a paycheck, and I'm not going to see Sharknado 4. I'm done. Like, Sharknado 3 is where I stop. I'm not reviewing any more of these movies. I'm not watching any more of these movies. Sharknado 3 is where I put my foot down and say, enough is enough! I have had it with these motherfucking Sharknados on this motherfucking planet! Sorry, my Samuel L. Jackson Snakes on a Plane instincts just kicked in. But I'll close off with this. It's the third Sharknado movie. It's either your thing or it's not your thing. If you like these movies for how shitty they are, then God bless you. You saw something in these movies that I clearly didn't. I prefer something that, when it's crazy, it goes all the way crazy. Like Crank. Like, those are the prime examples for absolutely insane movies that I could get on board because they just go to the extreme. Sharknado doesn't do that for me, but if you enjoy these movies for their shittiness and just being crazy, then, hey, good for you, more power to you. But I can't imagine anybody saying that these movies are actually good, because they're not. They're horrible. You don't give a shit about the characters at all. The acting's terrible. But again, it's a Sharknado movie, so it's kind of expected. I feel like an idiot critiquing a Sharknado movie, but I'm just like saying it's a dumb movie that has a lot of things that I should like. Because I can appreciate a dumb movie, but if it's willing to go the extreme like Crank does, I can get behind it. But Sharknado just doesn't seem to do that, and I fell asleep in this movie. Like, I almost fell asleep in the first Sharknado. I fell asleep in this one, and made the decision to pause during the commercial breaks so I could sleep for about 20 minutes. Like, that's how unappealing these Sharknado movies are to me. So, I will say, just don't waste your time on it. I know my ratings usually don't waste your money, but since this is a sci-fi movie, you don't pay for it. It's a made-for-TV movie, for Christ's sakes. Don't waste your time, because you're not going to... If you waste money on this thing, then that's kind of stupid, but I would say don't waste your time. But if you had friends, if you had beer, if you had weed, then that's probably the best way to enjoy it, because I honestly have not seen these movies with friends, beer, or weed. I think the experience might be a little better if I did, but I'm not seeing any more Sharknado movies. I am done with Sharknado. I hope this series dies out, and it's dumb, but I figured I'd just review it for you guys. I reviewed the first two movies. I figured I'd just be courteous and review this third one. And that's my review for Sharknado 3. Oh, hell no! That's how you say it, not the whole Sharknado 3. Oh, hell no. You don't say it like that. You say it like everyone's imitation of Will Smith in iRobot. So, leave a comment and tell me what you thought of the movie, if you've seen it. What did you think? Like, subscribe, share me with your friends. And this is the real Mr. Robinson telling you there's only one.